Welcome to Total Retail Talks, your podcast channel for retail knowledge.
Hi everyone, and welcome to this special edition of Total Retail Talks. In today's episode, Senior Director of Project Management for Crate & Barrel, Brian Schultz, discusses new technologies affecting retail, including the new technologies enhancing product imagery. All recorded live at this year's Total Retail Tech in Dallas. And now, on to the show.
Well, Brian Schultz, Senior Director of Product Management for Crate & Barrel. My team is responsible for the customer digital experience online, in-store, in apps, and the associate experience in-store as well from a digital perspective. So it's super important that we are thinking innovative and on the cutting edge. And I think, hopefully you guys can read this, but the quote in the middle there from Lauren Summers kind of came out. You guys probably have heard this quote before, but like, things take longer to happen than you think they will, and then they happen faster than you ever thought possible, right? So that immediately makes me think of technology. I did some research because I was like, did Larry Summers really come up with that quote? No, he didn't. It was a German economist named Rudi Dornbusch. It's the Dornbusch's law. Crisis is a financial crisis thing. Crises take longer to arrive than you can possibly imagine, but when they happen faster than ever, right? So what that means to me and all of you guys is that when we think about technologies, they can exist for a really long time without having a lot of impact to the world, and then disrupt very quickly once they become convenient, right? Anyone who spent time in the mid-2000s on the subway while people were talking on the phone really wished that they had regular keyboards, not T9 keyboards, so they could text, right? It took a long time to get there, but when it did, it happened very quickly. So then, of course, we have Flight of the Conchords. I don't know if you guys are familiar, but Germain made Brit a camera phone by strapping a camera to a phone. And incidentally, this episode came out in June of 2007, which is the same time the iPhone launched. So, interesting. So I'm here to talk to you about our CGI journey and how we're using modeling, different kind of models than we were talking about with Cosabella, furniture models. But really, just our CGI journey and how we're using modeling and augmented reality to further our business and to really give the customer what they're looking for. Hopefully, all right, we're there. So the customer problem, right, is that traditional photography does not support what the customers need in terms of customization, interactivity, or visualization tools that customers expect in today's marketplace, right? Our group, our merchants came to us and said, we want to launch a new custom upholstery program, and we want to have 500 fabrics across all of our 1,800 SKUs and have the ability to change leg finish options, change the arm, the shape of the arms and all that fun stuff. So we did the math and we're like, 5 million images. How are we going to do 5 million images, right? The only answer was to do kind of CGI modeling, to model our frames and to just layer on fabrics and layer on colors, and we were able to do that relatively quickly. I think photography replacement is a really exciting place that we're working in right now. This, I think, probably IKEA are the experts in photography replacement. If you're looking at environmental images on IKEA, they're probably not real. They're probably completely modeled environments. So we're working in that area. Our ability to use these models to build things like product visualizers. We built this super cool, you can see on our website, sectional planner. If I was to ask you, do you know the difference between a left arm sectional and a right arm sectional? Is it sitting down or facing it? And you don't know, neither do our salespeople, right? So they would actually sell items that wouldn't fit together when they got to the store. So this thing's really awesome. When I was QA testing it, I built a sectional that was 4,300 inches long and sat 225 people. So it was really expensive, and I didn't buy it. And then the one on the far end, which is really cool too, we're testing this on CB2 right now, is the ability to just dynamically insert a rug right within the framework of your own room, holding your phone. So there's tons and tons of augmented reality opportunities. But along with this being that it's somewhat cutting edge, there's a lot of challenges, right? First, I'll go through kind of what our goals were. We want to invest in the assets and the infrastructure to have like a reliable source of getting modeling done, getting it in a place where we can quickly render it and get it into the format we need it to be. That we get the assets ready in the pipeline before the products come to fruition. And in the case of custom and a bunch of other things we'll look at, the products don't even exist, right? You're building a product to show a customer that actually needs to be made for them. I think we wanted to prioritize areas where it's useful and where it's not. Like, it's not super useful to model a coffee maker because there's already photos of it out there. And really focusing on ownership of the models so that we can reuse them for different purposes that we'll get into, making sure they're scalable and that they're universality, that they can be used in different environments. So whether you're on a mobile device or you're doing 3D room modeling, all that. So our challenges we've had in this kind of quest to do CGI modeling is that like the scene 7 of CGI doesn't exist, right? The ability, the system, it's starting to exist now. There's companies doing it. When we looked a year ago, we said either we're gonna build it or we're gonna buy it, and we can't buy it, so we're gonna start building it, and now we're getting the phone calls from the people who are also building it, which is kind of fun. But so building like that workflow management, dynamic rendering, and hosting like for 3D modeling at like the product level scale has been a super interesting job. So making sure that we have good quality models, but not so that they're thousands of dollars for each model, because our goal is to really reduce the cost of photography. Getting resources together, because this is coming out of like e-commerce and IT world, and it's actually a creative process. You know, the creative team's not driving us in this direction. So creating a team has been really fun and interesting. Digital art direction in a traditionally like analog creative organization. We're old school, we're 55 years old, we make catalogs still. I think we get more negative feedback than help. So we're trying to like, yeah, we really need like a CGI art director. And it's just interesting working between the teams. So the standards for 3D and apps haven't been completely established. You know, iOS 12 is out now in the new iPhones as of last week, and it has ARKit 2. There's a new format which is called USDZ, which bundles all the things you need to do a real efficient kind of like augmented reality rendering experience very quickly. That format is only like 6 months old, right? So this is like a still rapidly evolving area, and that's like one of maybe 10 formats that you actually want to use. So being able to like dynamically render in those formats is challenging. And then we're trying to plan out like for 3 to 5 years versus following today's feature trends, and there's a lot of noise in the air. So just a little walk down memory lane. We were ahead of the curve a little bit. We actually launched a 3D room designer in 2010 with a partner from the Netherlands. It was completely unusable. You had to like press on the middle mouse button to do things, and I'm like, this isn't gonna work. Nobody even knows there's a button there. So as part of that, we did model all of our furniture, and in 2011, I call that the marshmallow chair because it looks terrible. And I started working at Crate & Barrel in 2012, and I was kind of surfing through the site, and I was like, what in God's name is that? Get rid of that. And they're like, it's the only image we have of that product. I said, don't care, it's not good enough, it's gotta go. So we actually pulled some of those products back. That was like extended assortment, meaning we didn't stock it, we never had it made to photograph, and so we got rid of it. So forward to 2015, we launched custom furniture, again, 5 million images. We got photorealistic quality. It turned out really, really good. We're super happy with it. And then in 2018, we're doing interesting stuff like creating environmentals for things that we drop ship, and we're actually never gonna get the product, right? Like we thought, okay, does it make sense to get everyone together, do a photo shoot? When we do photo shoots, we send like, I don't know, for whatever reason, 15 people, and everyone's gotta have an opinion. So this one, we did some rendering. Nothing in that photo is real. I asked my creative friends, they said, you know, the shadow's wrong, it's not great. So I said, again, we need your help. Please help us to like do those things because we're not art direction people. So we're getting to a good place. We're really replacing a lot of photography. And it's just all about, as time goes on, processing power has gotten much better. Software and hardware ecosystem is a lot better, and it's just bringing improved quality. And I think vital convenience, right? We're able to do all these interesting things besides photography replacement. You can go in our stores now and they can design a 3D room for you, share it with you, incorporate your like products into your room in a way that's really, really, really encouraging to buy, and we see amazing conversion rates on that experience. AR visualization is an area with this new iOS 12 and ARKit 2. It's gonna be super incredible. So the new phones are out. The great thing about this combination is that the ability to scale size, as in like point your phone at the wall and the sofa is going to show up in the right size, and you can walk around it, take a look at it, look under it, all kinds of fun stuff. That is happening as soon as iOS 12 rolls out to the phones that you all have. And it's super tightly integrated with Safari. So if you're cruising around, you're looking at product listing ads on Google, you click through to Crate & Barrel, bam, you can get the product in your room very quickly. And so we have augmented reality in our app right now, which is like a self-selecting group of customers. They're loyalists. not everybody's going to download the app. People who are at the beginning of the shopping journey aren't going to download the app, but we see over 10% interaction rate with augmented reality in our app now, and we're really excited to see it coming to web. And so like that to me is like one of those places where the technology's been around a long time, but it's gotten to the convenience level where it's going to be key. It's critical. And I think depending on who you ask, people think it's still far out there, but I think it's like 2 weeks away. So pretty exciting. And then finally, immersive VR visualization. That's a picture of my boss. She's actually inspecting a virtual room. It's a really funny video. I can share it with you if you email me. But she's kind of like in the matrix there. The hardware I don't think is where it needs to be for this experience yet. I think it's clunky. It's sort of, people are uncomfortable entering a virtual world while they're standing around in a store. So it'll be really interesting for us to see how this technology catches on, but it will, right? It's just a question of time. Voice commerce hasn't caught on yet, but it will. It's just a question of time. And we don't know how, and we don't know how it's going to happen. So and I try to tell my team, the things that are going to impact your business in the future are already here. You just have to figure out how they're going to impact it, right? And then that's all I had. I'm going to leave you with this one. This is just a mock-up. Don't put leather sofas outside. It's a bad idea, but someone did this for us. There's nothing about that photo, and it's hard to see. It's super high quality, but everything in this photo is virtual, so it's not an outdoor space at all. And it's taking us to a place that I think will help us to augment our existing sort of photography practices, and will also help us to expand our product collection much more quickly. That's it. Thank you.
Thanks for listening. For more information on this podcast, be sure to visit our podcast channel page at www.mytotalretail.com/podcast for show notes. Total Retail Talks is available on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, and Stitcher, but be sure to subscribe to our podcast channel page as well. Thanks, and until next time, this has been Total Retail Talks.